Boom. And we are live with a big time guest, right? I mean, one of those guys in digital marketing for roofing contractors that, everybody knows and loves, right? I mean, this guy over here, number 474 in the Inc. 500 with 865% growth. You know why? Because he's producing results for roofers worldwide. Mr. Worldwide, Michael Stearns of Ascend
Man,
Digital Agency. What's good, my man?
I'm
How
gonna
you
have to
doing?
have Christian or somebody in post clean this up because I'm starting to blush. Uh, thanks for the intro, Nick. Thanks for having me,
Congratulations.
man. Always great to connect, and big fan of yours and your show. So I really appreciate you having me on, man.
100%, man. I had a great time out in Buffalo. Really impressed with your team, your office, your culture, the content you guys are putting on a regular basis. So, congratulations on the success. Definitely deserved. All
Thank you.
right. So, dude, when I'm talking to roofers, man, I know, there's insurance, there's retail, but a lot of people I'm talking to are down on leads this year, right? And it's is it a tough year just kind of for everybody for some weird reason? Because what are you seeing?
Yeah, that's par for the course what you're talking about. I think it's kind of like the perfect storm of things, right? So you've got consumer behavior. People seem to be more nervous to spend money on things they don't perceive as an absolute need, right? So you got a lot more people looking for repair, a lot more people putting up a formidable defense to, transitioning the repair sales call into a full replacement. I mean, you've got crews, guys are losing crews left and right, getting picked up by ICE. You had a massive core algorithm update for Google, which I've never seen one in the 11 years that I've been doing this that has been so volatile as far as positioning. So you've got all
Nice.
these factors that are kind of rolling up into one another, and yeah, the net outcome is typically lower sales, lower leads, which is concerning. Um, it's a great time to discuss the importance of like brand, for
Hmm.
sure. It's always great to have an incredibly high ceiling. Everybody, like, I love upside, right? I'm a big upside guy. Um, but
Risk and reward.
the only thing that's better than upside is, in times like this, having a high floor. And if you have a
Hmm.
strong brand, that lends to having a higher floor, which means that you'll get more of those calls when people are searching because there's that brand recognition. You'll get more repeats, you get more referrals, you'll get more leads from your network that your reps are consistently developing, nurturing. Uh, it's incredibly important, and the time to start isn't now. It was 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, right? Because it's just like any other pipeline. You don't snap your fingers and now you've got this brand. It takes consistent work, and what I find is it's less attractive for a lot of contractors because there's not that immediate gratification. They can't hop into a dashboard and say, "Hey, how many door hangers did we put out? How many yard signs did we put out? How many relationships did each one of our sales reps develop?" It's less quantifiable, and for that reason, a lot of the times it's overlooked, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I was listening to this interview on Instagram, and it was with the founder of LinkedIn, and he was talking about how he only plays in 10-year games, right? And so if he built this company, multi-billion dollars, ends up selling it, right, for billions of dollars. And he's saying, hey, I'm thinking 10 years ahead. And that's all I'm thinking about. He's not thinking about wins this year or wins he can have right now. He's building a strong foundation, something that's built for long-term scalable success. And me and Mike, we're very similar. We're adrenaline junkies, right? We like our risk reward, probably a little, sports betting, stuff like that, right? But it's like you always want like a safety net, right? Where it's like you get to kind of get your fix of taking those risks and seeing if they're going to work, but you still have a safety net where you know that you're good. Like for example, whenever we were hiring or making big expensive decisions, I would always just take out a little bigger line of credit or just get access to funds just in case. So I had it and I could sleep at night. Not saying I used it, but for me, it was just worth it, right? So it's the same thing with the branding side of things, right? That's going to be your safety net that can serve you for years and years and years. So I mean, dude, you're talking about the SEO updates. I mean, you like living on the edge when when shit's changing left and right. Is that why you got into SEO? Because, dude, I'm telling you, you look at all the components, right? I do the CRM stuff and whatnot. There's a bunch of components, but dude, SEO is such a pain in the butt. There's so many components. Things are changing all the time, right? You think you figure it out, and all of a sudden they change something on you. Like, what's wrong with you?
First of all, SEO is dead.
SEO is dead.
Yeah,
SEO
yeah.
is
I don't know
dead.
if you guys have
SEO
seen
is
LinkedIn or
dead.
Facebook posts that SEO is dead. You've probably seen the same one
People
over
will
the last,
always be searching, right? People will always be searching.
yeah, over the last 10, 15 years. You see it pop up. And usually it's promptly followed up with whether it's that part of the post or it's the next post where they've got some cutting edge way to circumvent traditional methods in order to get you the instant visibility that you need for pennies on the dollar. So trust that guy, definitely invest in him. The
Yeah.
oversimplification of what we do and what's being done presently and the evolution is it's a real problem right now because it's incredibly attractive to a business owner that's looking for more opportunities, right? It's things have changed. They're nowhere near like they were 6 months ago, 6 days ago, 6 years ago. You know, we've got this AI driven solution, and it's this and it's that, and like there is some semblance of truth to some of the things they say, but the punchline of we can do this, it's costing next to
It's
nothing.
not
You
going to
don't need
solve
these
all the
people.
problems. It could
Yeah,
be a nice cherry on top, but it's not going to solve
yeah. Just
all
don't
the
take the
problems.
bait. Vet your
Yeah.
partners, and if it sounds too good to be true, a lot of the times it is, right? Um,
Mhm.
So yeah, I like what we do. I thoroughly enjoy what we do, the people that we help. I do.
So, I mean, I'm sure you've been looking into this. You know, I see you on LinkedIn too. You're always gathering the latest and greatest information. A lot of the stuff that I see you post on is stuff that I like and thought was very impressive stuff. So, I know you're thinking ahead with just AI and SEO and stuff like that, right? But I mean, for me, like, and I would love for you to just kind of cover this topic because obviously it is something people are talking about. For me, I feel like it's just like everything else where the way people are searching is just going to change. So you kind of have to change X, Y, Z, right? But the search demand is still there, and that's really all you care about is getting that search demand.
Yeah. So it's no different than when it was Alta Vista or Yahoo as a search engine, right? Or then it was Google. Now you've got LLMs, you've got TikTok, you've got Instagram where people are searching. Like people need information. Where they're going to get that information, how frequently they're looking on a platform, that will change, that will evolve over time. But at the end of the day, regardless of the platform that people are searching on, what do they care about in the most fundamental sense? They care about recommending people or companies that can provide helpful content to solve whatever it is that person's in need of. So when I was in a library, God, it's almost 20 years ago in college, 10 years or 15, I don't know. Long time ago when Google was like newer and I walk through and I see Google on every fucking screen, right? And I'm like, God, why is everyone using Google? And I start using Google. And it's like, it found a very succinct way where other competitors didn't to answer my question. And it was always the first one. I didn't have to go through page 2, page 3. And that's the premise of Google. And that's what's grown them over the years. So like what factors did Google use? What factors are LLM models using? There's only a finite number of things, right? Like, okay, who is your company? Do you have an address? Do you have reviews? How many places do you have reviews? Do you have local directories and citations and partnerships and links, signals that deem you as a credible source that they should recommend when people are asking questions that you can solve them and they can say that with confidence? Because if they don't do that, they're the next Yahoo, right? They're on the wrong side of the
Mhm.
creative destruction cycle. And then nobody uses their platform. If they do that and they do that well, now they start stealing market share from other places people are searching. Then what happens, Nick? Well, now we can monetize it because we create this product that people can't live without. At first it was free, then it's this much, then it's this much. Then once we have all the eyeballs and the usage, it's like, hey, Mr. Advertiser, hey, roofing company, you want to run ads on our platform? It's much
Mhm.
less per click than these other platforms. 3 years later, it costs twice as much as the other platforms because the
Mhm.
usage that it generates it makes it make sense, right?
Mhm.
So it's just
I'm more
figuring
of
out and
a
understanding what makes your company relevant to the platform, and there's only a finite number of things. Now the intricacies as far as like how you're chunking out data, how you're presenting it, technical things on your website or on different platforms, those things change as well, and you have to be in lockstep with those in order to increase the likelihood of the desired outcome that you're recommended on that platform. But at the end of the day, there's only there's a there's a group of considering factors that they're going to use to determine who's where.
Well said, and very deep there too. I love that. I love the response. Now, I'm more of a Bing guy, to be honest with you, so
Big Bing
that's
guy.
where I get all my yeah, I'm a
Boy,
big Bing. I love it. Still using Ask Jeeves and Bing. That's where I'm getting most of my business. So it's
I'm
been going
partial
well
to
for me.
Ask Jeeves.
Ask Jeeves,
So
dude. I tell you, I used to live in the Bay, and there used to be in Oakland the big Ask Jeeves building. I used to drive by every day, dude. Love Ask Jeeves. Love Ask Jeeves. So what about the I'm almost picturing like a hall monitor, right? Of somebody coming in, grading you online and saying, this is reputable, this is, good high quality content. We need to serve this. Now the hall monitor comes up to your business and sees your content online and stuff like that. And a lot of it was generated with AI. Are they gonna be like, you know what, screw you? Like that is a bad score. Or is it going to get to the point where it's just like everything online is going to be AI generated and it's still who has the best?
I don't think there's a single answer for that. So, for instance, generated by AI. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean that you just put a prompt in Chat GPT, posted it? Did you create some sort of prompt, engineer some sort of prompt and system to where it's consistently feeding in questions and you're just posting whatever it says, hoping that it's relevant, that it's unique, that it's helpful?
Hmm.
I know you use AI a lot. I use AI a lot. And I mean, it gives me flagrantly wrong information.
For sure.
I think I asked for Birdman's net worth. I was listening to Young
Hmm.
Money. Shout out to Wheezy and the boys. And I was like, well, yeah, I don't hear much about Birdman anymore. What's his net worth? And it gave me it served up like Tony Braxton.
Yeah.
And I just tilted my head like my dog does when she's really confused and looks at me. And I'm like, huh. Most of the time it's really good information, but it does miss, right? So it all boils down to, I guess, what your system for inputs and outputs into that AI platform are. And that's going to strongly correlate, if not be a causal relationship between the quality of content that you're going to get out. And then from there,
Hmm.
are you making sure that it's not just stealing 70% from somebody else's blog post, right? So is there any type of review after the fact from a human? Are we modifying or editing it to make it stronger than what's out there? Like there's AI is certainly going to be used in content generation, whether it's video, whether it's
Hmm.
text, especially as we move forward into the future. The rate of evolution is insane. But the fallacy that you can just plug in a chat GPT prompt, and then start ranking your business because, I see it all the time where people come to us and like, hey, we took this course, we're working with this coach, we have this AI system, we've got 3,700 blogs. It's like, sweet, let's go into Search Console. Oh, weird. 3,700 blogs not indexed, which means like nobody's finding them anywhere. So you could have
Suck to
this
have that
content,
many
but it's
not indexed.
meaningless.
That would suck. So I love that. I mean, I love that response, and I think that's completely fair. I do want to say ChatGPT has been the biggest letdown is ChatGPT 5. This release has been a letdown for me. I think it might have gotten a little bit dumber, so that was a little bit of a letdown. But it's funny because I always compare AI to, let's say, you gave me this 18-volt Milwaukee Fuel impact wrench, right? What am I going to be able to do with that, right? Not going to be able to do much, but you give that tool to somebody who does that for a career, and they're going to be able to supercharge their efficiency, their productivity, all that kind of stuff. So it's still taking, your intelligence, your skills, and putting it into ChatGPT or an AI tool, and it's going to optimize or improve it if you do it right. Like some days I'll go into ChatGPT and I'm lazy, so I don't set the foundation.
Yeah,
I don't, chunk it up or I don't break it up, right? I just go all at once, and I'm getting crap answers, and I'm getting pissed, and I'm like, damn it, I should have just taken my time because there's still a methodology
sure.
to it to get the max output.
Yep.
And so if you actually go into it, your content using AI with like a value driven mindset where you're not just pumping crap out there, right? You should be good to go, I would say, right? And you could probably do a pretty good job if you follow your methodology that you build out.
Yeah, but the amount of people that have the requisite knowledge and understanding, let's say for like SEO, right? Of what
Hmm.
matters. Like you can get good content and like Point taken and very well said, because when I started using, whether it was Claude, ChatGPT, Grok, whatever, and I'm sitting there and I'm querying it, Perplexity, like when I
Oh yeah.
started using it, I can see the evolution of how I've gotten better, getting better answers to my question, and kind of
Hmm.
teaching it what I want, and doing a better job of getting the bullshit out on the front end. And it still needs refinement. And I'm definitely not the best prompt engineer. But there's a discernible difference between how I started using AI and my approach now. But yes, if
Hmm.
you have a methodology that you're testing, A/B testing, you're consistently tweaking, and then you find a sweet spot where you're consistently getting valuable content from an SEO perspective, that's really good. Comma, you shouldn't then just say, okay, we're good to go. This is our ongoing
No.
strategy. And I'll trust foolproof that because we've got 3 really good pieces of content out of this, that is going to be good. Because then it comes down to like, what is good, right? Is it good
Hmm.
based on you reading through and it's like, this sounds fine? Like, how does that content perform? Are people linking to it? Because it could be good to you, but at the end of the day, if it's not good to the people that matter as far as recommending it, it's really not good, right?
Hmm.
You need the
And there's so many
visibility.
components, right, to the content. So just like the written portion or the copywriting of the content is just one piece of
Right.
it, right? And so from there, like you said, you mentioned the indexing, right? So indexing, folks, that's making sure that you're telling Google that it's here so that people can find it and it becomes searchable. If you don't even index it, you're already in trouble, right? So there's so many components, the keywords, that the images, like how you save the image title. I mean, it's and it's never ending. So you definitely, and this is a good time. Stearns, obviously, you know what you're doing. What's the best way to get a hold of you if people want to chat and figure out how you can help them with their online presence and generating leads?
You go to www.ascenddigitalexperts.com. You can hit me up on Facebook, Michael Stearns. Instagram at Takeoff with Ascend. We're on TikTok too. I mean, we're everywhere, baby.
And the
Come on.
podcast too. Unplug the podcast.
Mission Control Podcast. It's on the Ascend Digital Agency YouTube channel. It's on Spotify. It's on we use Libsyn to syndicate it everywhere. It's not hard to find, folks.
Let's
Tap
go,
in.
baby. Yeah, you guys got to tune in. He's got a cool studio over there. Wait, who won in that Blitz game, by the way? Do you
I don't know
remember?
what you're talking about.
Do you remember what
But what
happened
I
there?
will tell you is I've been going
Yeah.
ham on the pull-ups. So when we spin the
Oh,
block and I come to Denver, you come back to Belo.
bring it on,
Yeah,
baby, bring it on. And hey, all you football fans out there, shouts out. We got football season starting. We're back. Go Pack, go. We got Bills fan in the house, so he'll be jumping through tables here shortly.
go
You know what
Bills.
I mean? Let's go, baby. So I
We
want to
got
go back to
we got
some.
Eric Reno with Paramount coming up this weekend for the home opener.
Oh, for real? You guys going to the game?
Yeah,
Let's go. We'll have fun. You boys be good. You guys have fun.
thank you.
Josh Allen, four tutties.
One time.
Uh, So I want to go back to the lead side, all right? Because this is something that I've been dealing with. And you mentioned repairs. I want to hear what people have been saying about that with approaches. For me, like I love the repair stuff. I love anything that could be even like an annual maintenance plan for 499, however you want to pitch it. Something that I can get people in my database, ask for referrals, ask for reviews. It's funny. I've been pushing finance, right, for roofers for a long time, right? Nobody gets super excited, but I push it and I push it with passion, right? So it's funny. We implemented finance for Better Boss for our projects now, dude. We implemented yesterday. I had a call, or 2 days ago. First time really even pitching it. Easiest close in my life. It wasn't even had to think nothing to think about.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is the power of finance. So what's your thoughts on all that? I know that through a lot, the repairs, the annual stuff,
Yeah, we'll
financing.
start with the repairs, and like it's a really good time to talk about it. There's a general disdain for repair calls. Like when we're going through with a client and like this, we got X amount of leads. And we're like, well, what about this one? It was, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. It's
Mhm.
opportunity, right? And especially where the economy's at, the consumer behavior, how uncomfortable people are breaking out their checkbook to pay for something. They're naturally going to look for the cheapest solution. They could have a 50-year-old roof with 2 shingles left on it. Roof repair near me, right? Because they're hopeful, some maybe delusional, that somebody's going to be able to repair this hog, but they can't. Your job is to get out there and sell them on why they can. right? It's critical that we dismiss the mindset that a repair is a wasted opportunity, because a lot of people do it and they don't treat it the same way. If you and here's the thing, if you go into that call and your sales rep has a predetermined mindset that this lead sucks, that customer's going to feel it and you're probably not going to sell them shit. In my
Mhm.
experience, somewhere between 10 and 20% of repairs flip into full replacements. But you have to treat it the same way. You have to follow your sales process. You have to go in with that mentality that we're going to sell this shit. Otherwise,
Mhm.
that energy is going to bleed through to the customer and you're going to leave empty-handed and heartbroken. And then you're going to tell me how shitty the leads were.
100%. And I love that they don't even acknowledge the repair lead. I'm used to that because obviously when we're doing the commercial stuff, I was going all in on starting with repairs, right? And it's a little bit different with the commercial world, but still, it's the same ball game. And like you said, they could need a replacement, and then perfect, you're the person. If not, you get a repair, you do some small work. Maybe you put them on some kind of annual thing where you're going to become their roofer. All right, and now it's a lead source. You can ask for the review, you can ask for the referral, and you
1000%.
can say, who do you know anybody else that might need some help? Because now they love you, right? And then it's
Yeah.
just kind of game over from there. It
Yeah.
snowballs.
And then, maybe you're at the conversation with the customer. You're at the point where it's like, hey, we just can't afford it. I mean, to be honest with you, it would cost you $239 a month just to replace it. We got
Hmm.
0% for 24 months, right? If you want to pay it off sooner, far be it from me to get in the way of you doing so. Costs you next to nothing. So,
It's a
oh, oh,
no-brainer.
when we do onboarding for Google Ads, it's, what financing do you offer? Oh, we got this company and this company. Okay, great. What SKUs do you see produce the most? What are people choosing? Is it, 10% over 10 years? Is it 0% for 24 months? Because these things are important, because if we know that's what people are gravitating towards, we'll use that in the ad copy. We'll use that in the copy on the website. Um, a lot of, not necessarily clients, but people that I've spoken to and doing consulting, they don't necessarily have a firm understanding of that. Their team isn't really pitching finance. They don't know the SKUs. If you're trying to sell me something, and let's say you have 6 different financing options. If you get to the point of the pitch where you're pitching me all 6 and making me make a decision, I'm going to be fucking overwhelmed. I'm going to tell you I need to think about it, right?
Mhm.
Versus if you come into that conversation, we talk for an hour, we talk for an hour and a half, and you come to me from a position of authority and like, look, based on your circumstances and everything you told me, our best customers in these situations have chosen this option. Let me explain to you why, right? And you curate that solution for me. I'm far less likely to be like, oh, I got to think about it, because it's not information overload. You're not showing me 7 houses and telling me to choose one. You're telling me, based off your expert opinion and the trust and credibility you've built throughout this process, this is what I need to do. And people want that. Also, like, I don't know when the last time you purchased a vehicle was, but how many times do they pitch you and remind you of what the sticker was? Zero. They
Mhm.
ain't gonna tell you
Zero.
it's an $80,000 truck. They're gonna tell you it's 579 bucks a month.
Hey, you're looking at a former certified Wild Honda pre-owned vehicle salesman of the month, okay, man? All right, I get it. You never discuss the sticker price. It's always the finance. That's why, with these estimating tools, man, you should have it where your roof reports are shooting over to your templates where it's like a good, better, best. You brand them, you make them look pretty, and then you have the finance. So when it's time for them to sign and it pops up, it says 550 a month, 625 a month, blah 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 blah, right? And it breaks it down in that pricing, so it's a different discussion. I want to basically what I did is, dude, I'm telling you, I read that $100 million offer book. I know her Mosey's blowing up all over, right? But I really recently just read it, and honestly, it changed my perspective a lot on sales and marketing. And basically, he's just trying to do the same thing, almost like a Gary Vee with his content. It's just like value, where it's just like so much value you're giving these people that it's basically like a no-brainer. So I put
Mhm.
that in with some roofing stuff, right? Because I don't think there's enough great offers in roofing. And anybody that I bring this up to says, no, you can't make a good offer. So I was just like, all right, hey, give me one for repair leads in residential. So you could do some kind of offer where, hey, fix your leak in 24 hours or we pay 200 bucks, right? You're going to get free emergency roof health check. You're gonna get a fast repair guarantee, and then you value stack, right? So it's like you get the drone report, you get a 5-year leak-free warranty, you get financing ready in 5 minutes, blah 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 blah. I do think there is an opportunity for roofers to think of better offers. What do you think of better offers?
I agree, and I think that's a great method to convert people. Also, like, what if we used a portion or the cost of the repair towards a replacement if it's done inside of 24 months,
Hmm.
right? Because this is where people get nervous. They're like, well, what if the repair is 3,800 and the roof's 15? It's like, there's one critical piece of understanding that's missing here. You'll know in advance what that repair cost and what you're going to pitch them at when they come back. The most important thing is they're coming back to you and giving you the first crack at replacing their roof.
And basically, with the repair, you're getting something that's usually pretty high profit margin already, right? And you're getting a lead. And now you're getting an opportunity to present yourself, right? Because if you present yourself and you can sell and persuade, then all you have to do is execute. And then once you execute, then it's basically game over, right?
Right.
Because now you just added that person to your portfolio. And I don't think enough people use like their database, but now you're building a database of legitimate people who you can stay in front of and hopefully become their person of choice, right? So,
Yeah, I
what do
mean,
you want
just
to
don't
say?
miss the layup.
Don't miss, but what do you want to say to people who are so anti-repairs? Let it off your chest. Let it
What
off
do
your
I want to say?
chest.
The
And
value of
I got a bone to
having
pick with you.
there's we got to get away from the 5 feet in front of our face, immediate gratification mindset, right? And it's
Hmm.
tough in today because everything is microwave mindset. Now, 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 now. I blame Bezos. You know, he ruined
Hmm.
everybody. You know,
I say the same thing.
this, you could have it today. You could have it in the morning. Um, but it's a fool's errand, especially in a business. And here's the thing, right? This is what makes this conversation less compelling. You know, you look at a year and a half ago, a year ago, where the market was different, everything was different, and everyone was doing much better. You don't feel the consequence of focusing on some of the details that really sustain and perpetuate the strength of your brand, your company, your revenue, right? Because it's just a feast. Everyone's getting fat in the streets
Mhm.
until things start to contract and close in. And now you start to feel like if you were selling those repairs, if you were treating them like gold 2 years ago, how many of them need a roof now? How many of those repairs didn't you run or didn't you run with the right energy that went somewhere else that are buying a roof from your competitor? If you had a couple extra roofs a month right now, that'd probably be really good to you, right? You would benefit immensely, disproportionately from when times are really good. So I would say, like, focus on making the most of every opportunity that we have. Scratch and claw, because while it might not feel like the best opportunity, you don't know. I'll tell you what, Nick. So when I got into digital marketing, I was a hunter, right? You generate your own leads, you sell your own customers. Like, I was the equivalent of a door knocker, right? It was one of my first days on the job, like maybe my third day. And I'm sitting at a Tim Hortons. We have those here in Buffalo. They're in Canada. It's just a coffee shop. I'm at the checkout and I look through and I see a landscape company and I'm like trying to see the whole name so I can Google it, right? So I find it. I call the guy, explain to him what I do. He's like, all right, we can meet. So I pull up to this person's house and I'm like, this ain't fucking going anywhere. Nope, definitely ain't. But I took a step back and I'm like, you need to sell this person. You need to help this person. Like, you shouldn't predetermine based on anything. Like, he was willing to take a meeting. He understood the value in what you do. Be better, right? So I went in there, pitched it, sold it. It was great. Had I not taken that step back, that would have never been sold. I've been like, here's what we do. Here's what it'll cost you. Do you want it or not? That approach doesn't resonate well with people, right? Um,
No.
But I'm grateful that for whatever reason, I had that aha moment where I took a step back from my knee jerk reaction of like, fuck, this is a waste of time, and actually put the energy in to show them. It ended up being like a 2-hour call. Um, but it resulted in me being able to help them purchasing, me getting my career off to a great start, and me feeling really encouraged about going on my next call, which oftentimes
Yeah.
isn't talked about, right? Like the momentum in sales, uh, both positive and negative. I had a client who had a sales rep, and he's like, yeah, it's just not doing well, man. And like the conversations that he's having, I'm like, he sounds like Nathan Peterman when he went out and threw 4 picks before halftime against the Chargers. I was like, you can't
That was
just keep.
brutal.
Yeah, I'm like, you gotta snap him out of this, right? I'm like, he's played football for 20 some years and has a really large body of work of being successful. Like, we've got to intervene and find a way to get him out of the 4 interception mentality so he could go slang that fucking thing around and we can win the game.
Peterman will never toss it around though, I'll tell you that much. So hopefully that dude is better at sales than him, because it is always a train wreck watching him play. But you said a lot of great stuff here that I want to go through, and you talked about you being hunting. I want to even talk about that. It's so funny because in the last few years I had to learn so much, and I knew it was gonna have to be in such an expedited timeline that I was just go go go, right? Like I was in that mindset of that season of just like go time, and just the amount of information that you learn and just the growth that you get. It's funny, but it's not, you know, it's not 100% sustainable to be like that. But I do think when you start to get lazy because times are so good, just know, keep your good disciplines, your good habits, right? And just like kind of like that growth mindset, where even if you're not trying to grow at a revenue standpoint, you're just trying to grow at a process standpoint, marketing standpoint, sales standpoint. Because I think a lot of people have this tough look into reality when maybe there isn't a storm, or maybe where times aren't great, and all of a sudden you realize your sales process really isn't as good, or maybe your marketing methodologies wasn't really as good as you thought, and now all of a sudden you're paying the consequences. So don't be romanticized with your current setup because times are good, right?
Mhm.
Be willing to look at the bad continuously and try to break it and refine it. Now, what about, I think salespeople kind of get in their own way sometimes, where they, like you're saying, the pre-qualifying. They're like, oh, this lead's gonna suck, right? And we're basically giving up opportunities for sales there. Uh, what's your thoughts on just kind of advice you give reps and owners for, responding to lead, the amount of times they're communicating to a lead? Are they trying to call right away? Is it, what's your thoughts there? Because if you have a lead that you bought just because they didn't answer right away, or just because you're prejudging,
Yeah.
don't do that. I know you
Yeah.
hate that.
So, I mean, from the sales leadership perspective, you have to have a process, right? And you could have the best process in the world. Salespeople aren't naturally the type of people that gravitate to process and are self-sufficient in the sense where you can trust them to do what you tell them to do. They've always got the better answer. They figured out a better recipe to Mima's meatballs,
Hard
right?
asses.
Yeah, and that's fine until the meatballs come out all fucked up, right? So
Yeah.
if you have a process, you're managing your team to that process, and you know that you're consistently doing the same things on every opportunity. Now it becomes a lot more viable to start changing variables in the equation and understanding what the outcomes of that change were. If you've got 100 variables and they're all changing at different times, you'll never fucking know what's working, what's not working, right? So it's having the process, managing your team and holding them accountable to the process. Now, if it's somebody where it's like an attitude thing and they're determining before they go out. This happens all the time with the instant estimator. Instant estimator is a great tool. The whole idea is you are going to convert people, but also you're going to get people out of your funnel by showing them the price. It's going to happen, and you have to be okay with that. So a lot of the time sales reps will hit up the owner of the company like, these fucking leads suck. It's never the fact that they've taken a nosedive in performance, right? It's recency bias. I haven't sold a job in 2 weeks, 3 days, 5 days, whatever, and now I'm getting this lead that doesn't answer. If we have a process that we're following, it's different. So in that instance, I would pull up jobs that they've sold from the instant estimator. I would look at the contact rate on those. Like, hey, this historically, the contact rate is 17%. Appointment booking rate is 17% from these leads, and you've sold X amount of these, which is X amount in revenue, and you've made X amount of dollars in commission. I don't want to fucking hear, because you're having a hard time, how shitty these leads are. Let's figure out how we're going to get increased conversion from them, right? And refocus the conversation using historical data that shows them that it's not a waste of time, right? Maybe we got to tweak our approach. Maybe we can do something different. Let's work on that together. But we got to get them out of that
Hmm.
mindset like this sucks, this sucks, this sucks. Because when you're in sales and you're in a slump, the last thing you want to do is look in the mirror and point a finger at yourself. But a lot of the times that has a lot to do with it, right?
Hmm. And energy is so important. Energy is so important, and,
Yeah.
and I think I even noticed this where I've been selling something where I think it was less valuable, and I had such great energy that people just enjoyed our conversation and their experience with me, that sometimes, just to have us in their wheelhouse and someone to kind of communicate with, even if there was a bad month or whatever it might be, dude, they were all in on us, right?
Yeah.
And then when I have a sales call and I'm selling something valuable and my energy sucks, right? I'm not answering the good questions. I'm not actually curious about them. It ain't happen. It's not closing, baby. Right? You do want an experience, don't you? Just like when you go out to eat and you're on a date and all of a sudden the waiter or waitress is just amazing. You're like, dude, that was an experience. You sold me on a great tip. Energy's everything.
Yeah, the food could be mid, but if the service is sensational, like I'll probably go back. And conversely, you could have the best ribeye in the world. You could serve it up, and if the service is ass, like I'm sitting there waiting 20 minutes for a water refill, you've got an attitude, like I'm probably not coming back to you. So like the product and service have to align to create that experience and the desired outcome that I want, which is good food and a good experience. Otherwise, I
Mhm.
got no use for
All
it.
right. So Stearns, I got a bone to pick with you now, right? So
Let's get
when you
it.
brought me into the hot seat, you said, you hate CRMs. I think you freaking hate CRMs, right? But you hate them. You hate the setup. You hate how much, all the components. You hate, people set them up. You hate me. I think, right, man?
To clarify, all right. In any industry, you've got different cohorts of people. You've got people that
Hmm.
just aren't fucking good. You've got people that are somewhat good. You've got people that are really good. They just don't care enough. Then you've got a small group of people that know how to do it. They care enough to do it, and they run their company or their team well. And whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, a CRM company, a marketing agency, a roofer, this applies to you, right? Um, so in the context of our conversation, there's a lot of conversations that I've had with customers, with people in the industry where they've hired somebody to do something with regards to their CRM and they were promised the world and delivered a bag of dog shit. Um,
Hmm.
Sometimes they were delivered exactly what they were told. The problem is with the CRM is you have to, as a leader, be able to get people to adopt it or it's fucking useless, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So clear the air
Hmm.
on the CRM thing. Go ahead.
No, 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 and I respect it because it's kind of a fun topic because, when I first started doing it, I didn't think it was gonna be as complicated as it was. I knew it
Mhm.
was gonna be difficult, but I didn't think it was gonna be as complex. And then you add in the whole side of adoption, right? Where sometimes if the culture and the leadership is stressed out and they're not, positive about the implementation, right? And it's a whole new ball game, right? So now you're trying to transform the culture on the adoption even. So I completely agree. But it's funny because when I got on the lead game, I thought I was going to go into the realm of, not everybody hates the marketing guy, right? And now the CRM guy's got the same freaking rep over here. So I want to ask you a question, some questions, right? Kind of just like shopper questions, kind of like what you did with me, because I think it is a good point of talk or good talking point because it is hard to find the right person.
Sure.
So a website, right? So if I'm looking at a website and I'm looking at somebody, gave me $5,000 and one person gave me $25,000, right? Dude, I mean, it's just a website. I mean, you know what I mean, right? It's just like, like I can remember the $5,000 guys, he's gonna get it set up great. It's gonna be perfect. It's gonna have scroll effects.
Maybe. So our okay. So questions for a website company. Like one,
Yeah,
am I
yeah,
gonna own my domain? Am
yeah.
I gonna own my website? So assuming I owned my domain, when you get done building my website, if we decide we want to leave, will I own it? Right? Will I own the content? What do I own? What do I not own? From there, if I leave you, what does that look like? Okay, I own it. Oh, well, bon voyage, go with God. Um, you own everything, but it's on a proprietary CMS. So
Hmm.
good luck, but you own it, but it's fucking useless,
Hmm.
right? I've seen that happen a lot. Um, but like, if you think about like how the website's built, does it look like every other website? There's plenty of decent looking websites, right? But if you're in a market with, everyone talks about how saturated their market is. Okay, people don't trust you. They don't trust the other people
Hmm.
either. So what are we doing on the first impression to differentiate ourselves and create that feeling of trust that ultimately is going to be strongly correlated to them dialing the phone, submitting a form, talking with an AI chatbot, giving them giving you their money, right? Um, so that differentiation is huge. So is it going to look the same as every other website? Probably the $5,000 guy. They're using a template or a theme, right? That's
Hmm.
pre-built where they plug in your
Hey,
information.
I want to say this real quick though. Okay, so when I first started, like 9, 10 years ago, I paid
Mhm.
some chick from Colombia 5 grand to make my website. It absolutely sucked. After that, that was my only 5 grand I had. So I ended up having to make my own website because the chick from Colombia screwed me over. Right.
Yeah.
And so there's so many components to it, right? Where I just think if you get to the point with your company that you can afford an expensive website, right? Just like everything else, you get what you pay for, right? I think it is completely worth the
Sometimes,
investment. You know what I
um,
mean? If you find the right person, though, I
you gotta
do
you gotta
think it
find the right
is.
team, right? Because also like outside of that, so let's say aesthetically it's good, it functions well, decent site speed. What's there?
Mhm.
What how many pages are there? What type of content is there? Are they just using bullshit stock photos? Are you working collaboratively with them to give them good photos? Do they have a process for it to make it easier on you to actualize the type of experience that you want your customers to feel? Like that stuff is super critical, right? So all of these things kind of bundle into what it costs to produce said website and experience, right? And a lot of the times it'll strongly correlate to how many people choose you when they come to your website. So,
And you guys make beautiful websites, right? So you can tell that you guys take the time to understand the customer, their goals, right? Really showcase their brand. And for me as an owner, obviously you're worried about search, you're worried about conversions and making sure that's all taken care of. And I'll tell you one thing, you need to hire an expert for it because there's too many components, there's too many changes. You want somebody that can just take care of that so you can run the business 100%, right?
yeah.
And so you guys definitely got to check them out, right? If you're looking to level up your game, you got to check them out at sundigitalexperts.com. Go annoy my buddy Stearns over here, right? Give him a hard time. Go buy a website,
It's me
right?
embracing
So
you
make
with
sure you
open
check it
arms.
out. But no, it's not an easy game. So obviously, as someone who's been in the lead space, I got a lot of respect for my homies in the marketing lead space because it's always changing. You could be the king of the castle where they love you because you 3 months are incredible. All of a sudden, 1 month goes down a little bit and they're gonna kill you. So I respect it. It is the man in the arena for sure. All right. So I make you close it out for us. So you can say whatever you want. You could say a quote. You could predict the game score for the Bills. You could, drop a line. You can start to rap. I don't really care. However you want to end it.
Mm. Oh, Bill's score, it's going to be 37-30. Um, what you said about
Wait.
websites is no different than, like in hiring for the CRM space. We had just touched on that. It's like I hired a CRM company. What I needed was pretty intuitive. We talked about it. The difference is you actually pay them during that discovery call, right? I got to pay them to understand what my needs are, which is crazy to me, but we did it. Um, and it was a fucking dumpster fire, right? And they were expensive. So expensive doesn't always mean good. Cheap doesn't always mean bad, but usually it does.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
Make informed decisions. My favorite question when I'm trying to vet anybody is let me talk to somebody it didn't work out with. Right. So we're working with a few recruiting companies and the one company is like, we can't give you anyone that it didn't work out with. It's against company policy. I was like, well, why is that? So I immediately disqualified them. Um,
Hmm.
it's interesting to see people squirm a little bit and send me 3 people you work with that had a great experience. A lot of people do that. You'll pick their top 3. That's fine. That's better than asking for nothing. However, ask for somebody who you worked with that didn't work out with.
That's a tough one right there. That's a tough one right there. Have you ever had any roofers go south on you? Have you had
Yeah,
any roofers go south
we
on you?
actually had two of them come back in the last 60 days. They were gone
No
for
way.
approximately a year, and they came back home, and I was happy to have them.
Dude, let's go, baby. And hey, it happens. So I like that approach because I probably worked with 500 and I've had two that wanted to kill me. And that hurt my feelings. And I did everything I could to make it better for sure.
But
You know what I mean?
you can get an understanding, right? When everything's hunky dory, everyone's doing great. Like, it's easy to have that relationship. But when somebody, especially when you don't agree with the decision, so like from a marketing company perspective, like when my one customer left that did come back, I'm trying to explain to him, like, the decision that you're making, you're taking a small sample of data. Somebody went in the Google ad account, started like, why are you doing that? You're paying them for this? Why'd they do? They spent this much money here, and it was something where we
Hmm.
were running a test because the customer wanted more siding leads, and they ended up at like 3x what the average lead cost was for the rest of the campaign over a 4-year time horizon. And like, dog with a bone. No, you spent this much money. I'm like, listen, dude, here's what I'll tell you. You've been with us for 4 years. Your company's done very well with us. Like, at the end of the day, if you want to step out on the marriage, far be it from me. Just understand, like, there's consequences, right? So like, if you come back, the pricing when you come back is the pricing, right? Like, it is what it is. Like, there's no hard feelings. It's not me being petty, but we've got a commitment to one another. And if you feel like the grass is greener, try it. Go put feet
Hmm.
in the grass, right? Touch
Hmm.
toes. His lead costs had tripled over that
Hmm.
year or so that he was gone. Um, but yeah, ask for people that they've worked with where it didn't work out with, because it's really hard. You'll see people's true colors in the tenth of a percent of time where shit gets really hairy, right? Like, how does that company
Hmm.
handle the situation? Are they going to be professional? A lot of people aren't, right? It's like, once I realize that this revenue is gone, I'm going to treat this person just like I would treat anyone else that I don't care about.
Hmm.
Um, and you could tell by speaking to those people what those companies, how they operate, what their level of integrity is. Because I want to work with a company, good or bad. You're going to treat me like a decent person, right?
Yeah.
Regardless.
And
Not just when
vendors
it's
are
convenient
people
for you.
too. Vendors are people too. All right. So I know, a lot of people think that vendors you can kind of push, shove, break up with, and, do whatever you want with. But if you have somebody as an employee or as a vendor who you can tell truly cares about your business, right, is always trying to go above and beyond, don't do things like bring in some cousin's uncle friend who does marketing on the side and who used to be in direct mail to come and join the meeting and do stuff like that, because that stuff would happen and they'd be analyzing. I'm like, dude, this dude doesn't even have a website. I don't know. I can't find him anywhere, but for some reason he's judging me. So you at some point you gotta have a trust in your partners,
Yeah.
right? And
And
once you
it's
find those
okay if you
people,
want
keep those
another set of
people.
eyes on it. It should be somebody that's qualified, and like, don't ambush people, right? Randomly at a
Yeah.
meeting, there's a third party. It's like, who is this?
Yeah, and you're dude, and all of a sudden now it's like, dude, you were trying so hard for that company, and you're gonna keep trying, but it's like, oh, I used to do these extra things, but now I'm a little pissed off, right? It's like, come on, man.
It's the golden rule. Treat people the way you want to be treated, right? Something like that.
Amen,
Um,
amen, amen. But
yeah,
yeah,
so
Stearns will take care of you. He's a real direct guy too, so he's gonna shoot you straight. That's what I like about Mr. Stearns over there. Keeps it straight over there, right? He's no BS. And so check him out. We appreciate you guys tuning in. It was ascentdigitalexperts.com. Check him out. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
thanks, brother.